Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, I am walking today. I'm on one of my favorite, it's like a really basic trail. I really like it. I go to it all the time. Yeah, just outside. I put some makeup on, have my fanny pack here, and decided, hey, why not do some talks while I'm like walking on the trail, thinking about life. Let me do my psychoanalyzing on YouTube again. So back at this humble series vlog, I guess now. I don't know, but I wanted to talk about believing in something bigger than yourself. It's good to believe in yourself. It's good to believe in what you can achieve and what you can do. But I also think it's important to believe in something bigger than yourself. Believing in a higher power. Believing in family, friends, whatever that may be for you. Believing in your ancestry, right? That's something bigger than you. We're a long bloodline of people, you know, built this legacy to where you are today, where you are safe, where you have food on the table, where you can go to school, can go to college, right? Those are things bigger than yourself that you just didn't wake up one day and say, oh, I can do this. No, it takes time, maybe even decades, maybe even generations for someone like you to do what others couldn't do in your past, right? And I say bigger, believing in a higher calling. You know, in Psalms it talks about how, you know, you're a fool if you don't believe there is a God, right? You're a fool, complete fool, to believe that there is no God. And it's not even saying believing in Yahweh, right? It's just saying in a God, right? And I think it just goes back to, like, you know, for me, I know for me it's a huge red flag when I meet someone and they essentially tell me the highest power I believe in is myself. That to me is a very dangerous person walking around. But that to me is a really, really dangerous person walking around. And that's somebody that you want to run away from. It's a huge red flag because the highest form that they believe in is themselves. Okay, do you know where were you before you were born? Do you know how the earth was made? Do you know anything about life, this life, and how it was created or formed, right? How many hairs are on your head? Like simple things like that, they don't know that. Like, the only highest thing that they can think of is themselves. And that can lead to a hedonistic lifestyle and a very selfish way of living. And I remember when I was in college as a freshman, right? And, you know, I was 18, 19, and I had met this guy immediately, and I was like, oh my gosh, you know, gorgeous guy, I thought. And we sat down talking one day. We started talking about religion. And at that time, you know, I'm a Christian. And I grew up Christian. And I don't think my faith was really, well, in terms of that, my faith wasn't tested when it came to others, I feel like. And so he brought up something to me about atheism, about believing the highest form in believing is yourself, right? And I was like, what? You know, I didn't really get it. And he believed that the highest thing was himself. He didn't believe in God. He didn't believe anything. And I told him, you know, it's important to have a constitution. And, you know, I got all this verbiage from my dad. But did I really believe it? No. I believed in God, but I didn't believe in the actual, I guess, statements or laws wholeheartedly, right? I was still trying to figure myself out as a young woman. Someone going into adulthood, you know, into her own space, into her own freedom. You know, I moved to New York, and my parents were nowhere to be seen. No one was there. And I was trying to seek the truth, essentially. And, well, getting to know him, you know, again, he ended up living a very hedonistic lifestyle at that point in time in his life. Very selfish. Only did what he wanted to do, you know, to an extreme of not caring what anybody else thought. Nobody didn't care of anybody else's emotions, negated all of that, and only thought of himself, right? And it actually was very destructive for him. Like later on, as you know, our whole thing ended, and thank God. But as I look from the sidelines, right, I notice how destructive it was for him physically, because you go to extremes of drinking, of pleasure-seeking things. You're seeking things outside of God, right? So you're not going to get any pleasure out of it, truly. It's very temporary. Just like with money. I was just talking to a colleague of mine earlier, and I was telling her, you know, my basic needs in life are met. I can officially say that. I have a roof over my head. I have food on the table. Shoes on my feet. I have a car. You know. Water, clean clothes, just clean overall. You know. So my basic needs are met. And even as a child, when you go to school, they talk about you need shelter, water, food, right? Fire, basic things that some people don't even get in this world. That's something I have. And after your basic needs are truly met, honestly, guys, you don't get permanent happiness after that. Seeking other things. For example, going on big vacations, or, you know, getting a nice handbag, getting nice clothes. You know, that stuff, I'm telling you, it's a temporary feeling. It's a temporary feeling. And then you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, I need more to satisfy this thirst for happiness. Because in the end, what we do seek is happiness. What we do seek is contentment, I believe. We seek satisfaction. And one thing God does is He overflows our cup. Regardless of the situation we're in, what we've been through. He can do that. Only He can. And the unfortunate thing is, people really do try to seek happiness in other things that cannot give them any happiness at all whatsoever, or can only satisfy it to a certain degree. Even in relationships, you know, I was a girl for sure who seeked out men to satisfy myself emotionally, right? And I would always seek out emotionally unavailable men. I seeked out men when it came to emotional intelligence, just was not there. They may have had a high IQ level, very intelligent, but emotionally was just not there, was not inept for that. And it hurt me. It didn't bring me any happiness. And even when I did meet a good one, I still wasn't satisfied. I was still very unhappy. I still felt felt very lonely, even when I wasn't alone. And it just showed me that even when you're around, good people, good company, even when you have everything you want and desire in life, you can't gain that type of happiness from other people. Other people are not going to magically make you happy. They add to the happiness that you already have within. So that means, and I really just realized all this, but it means, let's just say I got what I wanted today, right? I have to be honest with myself. Would I still be happy? Would I still be content in my life? No. Why? Because I'm not happy now. If you're not happy now when you're alone, right? And then you bring other people and you try to get that happiness from them, human beings get tired. They're tired themselves. Sometimes they're unhappy themselves. What are you going to do when your partner, your friend is going through it? They're very unhappy, difficult point in their life. Like, what are you going to do? You're going to cut them off? You're going to leave? You're going to run away? You're going to try to seek it from somebody else? It's just an endless cycle of pain and discontentment. And so when I realized that, I was like, okay, what are things that I can do to really seek happiness? And the one only thing is God. God showed me obedience to Him, loyalty to Him, honesty, truth to Him. I'm not a perfect person. I do a lot of crappy stuff all the time, just like anybody else, okay? But one thing's for sure, I try to practice my best way of being obedient to God. And when He really explained it to me, and He showed me in the book of Ruth about that, I know people like to talk about it's a romance and marriage, but it's truly about obedience. It's truly about believing in God, trusting in Him, right? And there He's going to take you to where you need to go. And in that journey, you start to learn to be content in the space you're in your own skin, regardless of what's going on in the outside, on the outside world. Regardless if it's a dark moment in your time. Regardless if somebody you just lost, right? There's a death in the family. Ruth's husband just died. Naomi's husband had died. Her sister-in-law, Ruth's sister-in-law, her husband died too. They're going through a tragedy, they're mourning, and then they have to uproot themselves from where she lived. She was a Moabite, and then she has to go back to Judah, Bethlehem. It's a lot. And all this time, she doesn't complain. She doesn't leave Naomi. She doesn't leave God. She embraces Him. She could have went back to her old ones. She could have went back to her old beliefs, but she chose to stick through it. And because of that, because of sticking through it, finding contentment even in the darkest hours, she was able to receive her reward. She was able to see multiple blessings. A man who loves her, owning land, money, wealth, prosperity, right? Even being able to have a chance to create a family again, to get married, to have a kid, right? To extend the bloodline all the way to what we know now, who's Jesus' bloodline. David goes to Jesus. So, reading that, it brought so much love and relief to my heart. I felt so at peace with it because I was like, okay, God is regardless of what's happening, God is leading to me to where I need to go, to my desire and destiny. If I put my faith in Him, because He will never let you down. You put your faith in people, you put your beliefs, all that into people, they get tired. People get tired. People bleed. They bleed the same colored blood that you bleed. Some days they don't want to get out of bed. Does that mean that you're just done? You think they're a bad person? No. You have to learn to deal with the crap by yourself before you receive that blessing. And I got so much peace from that, and I started to move. I started to, I was like, okay, I psychoanalyze a lot. That's what my dad says. And I think a lot. I am a very emotional person. Very, very emotional. And I see it as a gift, and I want to share that gift. And why not make videos about it? And if at least one person listens to this and they get something from it, and it helps them move with their life the way I'm trying to move along my life, then that will make me happy 100 times, and it's a beautiful journey. It's a story. A lot of people want it now. But then when you get it so quickly, where is the story for you? Where's the agency? Where is the climax? Where is the climb itself? Like people used to talk about, hey, I started from here at the bottom, then I had to do this. They have a whole storyline, a whole biography, and now people are immediately just getting that rush. Okay, and then you sit down, you talk to them, and there's nothing there. There's nothing there. Okay, and what did you do? Like, they can't even write a biography about their life or a memoir because they haven't gone through crap. You get what I'm saying? And it creates idolatry, and people start putting all their faith and trust into a thing. Maybe even into an application, right? Where you're like, oh, if I can hit this, then I'm set. Okay, you hit it, then what? What do you do now? Well, I'll do this and I'll get more. Okay. Then you get to a peak, to that highest peak, and you're like, I did it. And you're still not satisfied with your life. You're still unhappy. You could get the girl of your dreams, the most beautiful house in the world, right? You could have the nicest cars and you still are freaking unhappy. People wonder why you have millionaires, billionaires just kill themselves. Suicide. Beautiful models. Like, just beautiful, gorgeous universal models who just kill themselves. And you wonder why they do what they do. Because they were unhappy to begin with. None of that stuff, none of the external stuff that you receive gives you that satisfaction, that peace, that happiness in your life. And that's what I'm here to tell you God does. People who love you, who support you, are part of that journey, right? And having gratitude towards the people that got you where you are today. Because I would not be where I am today if it wasn't for my dad, my mom, my grandmother, my grandmothers, my grandfathers, my great-grandmothers, my great-grandfathers, my great-aunts, my great-uncles, right? They all, it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to raise a family, I think. It takes a village to raise the world. I 100% think that. And so with that all being said, I preach believing in something bigger than yourself. And you just be open to it. Be open to God. He'll lead you in the right path. He'll lead you to where you need to go. When I meet some people too, and they don't necessarily believe in God, I'll be like, God's with you. And I'll know it. I can sense it. And I'm like, God is with you. And He believes in you, even though you don't believe in Him. You know how beautiful that is? Just like your parents or your friends. They believe in you more than you believe in yourself. Sometimes more than you believe in them, unfortunately. But that's the type of love, that unconditional love. That love that oversees all forms. To know that you have someone who's there beside you through everything that you could possibly go through in life. And to know you can always fall back on Him. Fall back on your Father. And it just brings peace and love to my heart. My life isn't perfect. It's not always spontaneous, and amazing, can be boring at times. But my basic needs are met. And I have someone who's going to be with me for the rest of my life, even when I die, when I get old and stuff. My Father God, who loves me regardless of the crap I've done in my past. And again, I just really emphasize, believe in something bigger than yourself. Even some people, they believe in generational wealth. I would say that's bigger than yourself, because generational wealth literally means generations, means children, children's children, right? So you're building for someone that you may not even meet down the path. You're building for someone that's, you know, great grandchildren that will receive the benefits of what you worked on. That can be seen as believing in something bigger than yourself. And that you are acting out of selflessness and gratitude. And I think these days people are very selfish and they're very narcissistic. I know people love that word narcissistic, but it doesn't only connotate to men. You know, women can be very narcissistic as well. I think actually during this time, there is an agenda to really kind of get women to be this very narcissistic, it's all about me, I'm right all the time, you're wrong, and that's really dangerous. We're just in a narcissistic era. And I do believe everybody has a bit of narcissism, but this is over the top at this point in life. And I notice it within me too. If I don't get my way, I throw a fit, you know. And good people are not going to stand for that crap. You know what I mean? I can't stand for that crap either. You know, you're trying to work on yourself, get to where you need to go. You're either with me or you're not with me, period. But respecting people's boundaries and stuff, which I actually want to talk about in another video about boundaries, about anxious attachment, because I have problems with anxious attachment. It's really bad. And this is all like childhood stuff. Like nobody's childhood is perfect at all whatsoever. People act the way they do based on the environment that they were raised in. Okay, so, and that hasn't. You can't put fault on the parents. Parents have gone through their own things as a child, and so it is this generational bloodline. You know, you could call it curses, you could call it whatever, pain, trauma that's been passed down, right? But anyway, I got deeper into that. That's something I want to talk about later. But yeah, let me know y'all's thoughts on the stuff I talked to you about today. Like, what do y'all think? Do you believe in a higher power? Do you believe in something bigger than yourself? Is it important to believe in something bigger than yourself than just you? Because it's not all about you, right? But to have empathy, right? Empath. To put yourself in someone else's shoes, or at least try to. You know, sympathizing is just, feeling bad. You're not, you have gone through what they have. But empathizing, at least trying to understand. You may not fully do that and, you know, be a support system, at least for that. But have empathy. Have some type of emotional connection with people. More than just you. Don't be that guy I met in college who was just all about himself. Very selfish. And I'm not going to even blame him because, hey, he might have grew up in a household where he had very narcissistic parents and everything was about them. Like, when it comes to stuff like that, you're either very people-pleasing or you're very narcissistic. It's just one of the two. One of the two. And it's a way of surviving, right, through life. It's a defense mechanism, and I get it. But you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that girl. You know, ladies, you're not always right in what you say and do. You know, not everything is about you. You have to live in the real world. You have to know the value of $1. I'm going to talk more about that too, about how these days they're trying to bring up women and take them out of freaking reality and they lose all types of connection to what the value of a dollar is, right? Where you're standing there and you're like, I want this, 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 this. Okay, do you know how much that truly costs? Do you know what that means? Do you know if you buy this certain, like if you buy a Birkin that's 20 grand, you know that's the amount of money you could put for a down payment on a house. You see what I'm saying? So we have to be in that type of mindset and state, right? And thinking bigger than yourself for your kids' kids. Thinking bigger than yourself for God and His plan for you. Because it's not your plan, it's His. And you have to be humble enough and have humility to listen to Him. Humility is so important that I realize how important it is. You can be in a path of God's plan and then ego gets in the way, pride gets in the way, 100%. Then you completely forget how you got where you are, who got you to where you are, right? And then it becomes all about you and then your goals and what you want, and you just lose complete reality of why you even here. It can just lead to a dark path, personally. And I think everybody on this planet's here for a reason, 100%. 100%. Nobody's came here, like people have miscarriages every day. You know, people are not able to have children. Some people, they have stillborns. God bless them, you know. And it's a miracle that you came here on this planet. You have all 10 fingers, all 10 toes. You have eyes that can see. I mean, it's a miracle that you're here, right? So how can you not think you have a purpose? How can you not think there's something bigger than you that's calling you for a destiny, for a purpose, right? And again, that's where I call in faith. And I believe that's the biggest test of them all in this world. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'm gonna finish this trail walk. I love trails. I want to check out some more, but I'm gonna be doing some more videos like this. Let me know if you guys like it. I hope you guys do. I'm really trying to be consistent and stay positive, but be real at the same time. And yeah, it's a beautiful day, honestly, y'all. It's gorgeous. I love you guys very much, and God loves you too. Give it a try. Be open to God. Be open to something bigger than yourself. See how it makes you feel. Yeah? And connect with people. You never know who you can meet. I'm trying to do that. Trust me. Haven't really done it yet. So, I'm taking my own advice. But, yeah. I love you guys so much. Mwah. God loves you. God loves you. I love you. And I'll talk to you soon. Okay? Peace out. Bye.